the truth.
Welcome back, everybody. Audio Theory. Back in the house with my boy Danny, who's actually in LA this time around.
On site.
Hence why we don't have a video up, because we don't have the setup for this shit quite yet.
Next trip.
But next trip we'll have it, everything in order. And this episode is called PC or Mac. We did a lot of catching up and have quite a bit of topics to speak about that you guys will find interesting as we do. Let's jump right into it.
This might as well be called like Drink Champs Part 2, because we're like, this is like a rip off of Drake's. Like Blair's, if you can see as Blair's drinking tequila, I can't drink right now because I'm on some other shit. Like this is like Drink Champs. Like shout out to them. This is like the highest form of like flattery.
Yep, you can't see it or smell it, but you can hopefully feel it and hopefully not hear it in our voices. We don't want to be mumbling and saying all kinds of crazy shit, but at least you'll find it entertaining. Worst case scenario.
But we got to start off with Heat of the Week. What, you were just on a trip to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. I know on your flight you must have been playing one song over and over again. What's that one song?
Honestly, I was playing games most of the time because my playlist I've run through like 400 times already.
Okay.
What I did right before I got on my flight, I saw the new A$AP Rocky Babushka Boy.
The video? Okay.
Which was dope. The song itself was dope too, so that got my vote. A$AP's always been an artist that I've loved ever since he dropped that first mixtape. I think it was called Live Love A$AP.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in like 2011 or maybe even 2010 or even 2012. One of those years. And ever since then I was like, yo, this dude's gonna be big one day. And at a certain point in time, I won't say he fell off, but he kind of disappeared from the scene.
Like on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
It wasn't even like I was like, he's not hot anymore.
Yeah. He like
because he stayed hot.
Yeah, staying hot. Like I guess let his camp fucking take the spotlight.
Yeah, because A$AP Ferg was pretty popular for a while.
A$AP Ferg and all that, and my interest just kind of disappeared at that point. I didn't really expect too much from him, and then he dropped this shit, and it kind of reminded me of that old gritty, like simple but dope New York style that he originated from.
And then remember why Donald Trump was like trying to get him back.
Yeah, he never said
he never
sorry
said thank you.
Or just thank you.
He never said thank you.
I mean, that was a smart move on his part. He would have fucked his whole career.
Yeah, you fucking sell out. Go back to fucking Sweden.
Well, apparently all the comments are saying he went to Russia because he made that Babushka song. The handkerchief around his face and everything. So who knows what Europe did to him? Maybe his cellmate.
It changed him.
But musically, at least he stayed the same. So I got to give him my vote.
So that's your Heat of the Week?
Yep, I'm looking forward to more heat from him.
All right, so my Heat of the Week is an album that was very underrated from my point. I didn't know how hot it was going to be. Like I mentioned before, there's only a few female rappers I even care about. But Rhapsody dropped an album last week. Album's great.
What's it called?
The album is called Eve.
Dope. That explains why I got a random Mac Miller video with her from like 7 years ago.
Yes. So Rhapsody's been around for a while, dude. Takes her craft super seriously. But one standout song on that album is Sojourner, featuring J. Cole. Bro, kill that shit. That shit's fire. I listened to that shit the entire time my flight from Miami to LA. I was like, wow. Bro, because like, dude, I didn't even think about her when I think about fucking hip hop like artists. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you can tell why she drops an album like every 3 to 4 years. Cause like, yo, this was like an art. Like this shit was like every lyric was like on point. So
shit, if your name is Rhapsody, you better come
correct.
Yeah, like you have no choice.
But
like,
to be fair though, a lot of like people
names.
Who know about her been talking about her for a while. Like, I think Charlamagne the God was like always saying that she's the best rapper out. Period. Like male or female. So. Shame on us, because I haven't heard any of her shit before, so. But yo, it's hard. Like it's a really good album. So definitely shout out to Rhapsody. That's my Heat of the Week for sure.
Dope. So let's get into what's been going on. I think. One thing I did tune into, which is also why I didn't really listen to a whole lot of new music, is the Chappelle special.
Dude, so what do you think about that shit, bro? I think it's called Sticks and Stones.
Sticks and Stones, and obviously that's the name of it because the saying goes, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And obviously we live in a time where basically anything anyone says offends somebody.
Everything has to be PC, bro.
And he basically said, fuck all that. I'm gonna say what I want and piss everybody off. And the weird thing about it is he's always been like that. It's just in this day and age, for whatever reason, his jokes just hit home worse for some people.
For some people, right.
And he killed it, in my opinion, in a good way. And
yeah, I really think this might be his best work. Cause I feel like those first
like
two
artistically?
Yeah. So I feel like those first 2 Netflix specials was still very PC. Like, yo, I can make some jokes, but I can't cross that line. This one, he was like, fuck you. I'm rich. You need me. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And bro, it was tasteful, bro. Like, there was never any one joke that was like, bro, you crossed the line. Like,
right.
Even the shit about Michael Jackson, it was like, it was funny, bro. Yeah. Like, I don't want to give it away, and I can't do his jokes justice, but like, bro, that joke was hysterical. So like, I don't know, dude. I think it was his best piece of work. But like, how do you feel about the comedians now coming after him? Like, do you think they can like go back to the comedy from the old, where you could just say whatever you want and be okay?
They can. I mean, they're gonna face backlash no matter what. But it's a tough gig because that's what your job is based on, is saying shit that's inappropriate and hoping you get some laughs.
Right.
Or making good out of bad, at least. You know, we can, like, fucking getting raped by Michael Jackson and shit like that isn't funny, obviously.
At all. But it happened.
If it did happen, since technically it wasn't proven, if it did happen,
hypothetically.
Hypothetically. I mean, it's a fucked up thing, but at the same time, he's given his point of view in like an artistic way.
Right.
So you can't really you can't treat his piece just like some random dude at your job talking about it. Like, this is his actual career. And if you don't want to tune into it, you don't have to. That's the good thing about it.
That's the beauty of Netflix. But everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it. And if you know his previous work, it doesn't come as a surprise. I wasn't shocked.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked. But I was shocked at the quality of the jokes. Like, so again, I feel like I didn't care for the last 2 Netflix episodes. I just did. It was fine. So we haven't seen like prime Chappelle since the Chappelle Show, which is fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Bro, so the fact that something like that whole LGBTQ joke, bro, that is like sophisticated to a different level.
Oh, you mean just the fact that he referred to them as letters the whole time?
Yeah, dude, the fact that like he referred to them as like a fucking family in a car who hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that is like artistically genius.
Yeah.
And then to make that joke so unoffensive throughout was crazy, bro. Like, that was like, again, there's like, I feel like if you're like an artist, comedy, like aficionado, like that must have been like your brain blowing, because like, bro, like how is he making this so funny and so not offensive? Like, that is crazy.
And the thing is, so I watched this one channel on YouTube. I think it's called Jubilee, and they basically bring 2 opposing sides together to discuss
every topic. Okay.
And one of the topics was, I want to say it was transgenders versus like the rest of the letters of the alphabet, as Chappelle would put it. And it was interesting to see how divided they even were, because for someone who's not part of that group, you don't understand what their perspective is and what they think of each other. And Chappelle basically mentioned all the things I saw in that video. Was like, even within that community, they're
not all friends.
Yeah, and that goes for like any community. It doesn't matter if it's the black community, fucking liberals, Latinos, conservatives, Latinos, whatever. Like, there's always gonna be that division.
Facts. And I feel like we never think about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, we just assume, oh, they're all like this, so they're all the same. And it's like, no, they don't even like each other. Which is, again, excuse me, a great thing that Chappelle brings out in that episode. It's like, bro, like, there's like, this is America. Like, yo, like, here's a fucking mirror. Like, you guys all think we're divided, but it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
And then all the gay jokes about like people in Atlanta was phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I mean, he definitely practiced and took his time with delivering this message in like the dopest, seamless way ever. Like,
this was a very special stand-up series. But like, I feel like you have to, if you're even a comedy fan, like, you have to go see this shit.
Yeah,
it's special, dude. But speaking of comedy, bro, so I'm reading actually a book right now I was reading this shit in the fucking park today. So the book is called Everybody Lies, Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Can Tell Us About Who We Really Are. Bro, so there's a part in the book that talks about the concept of the book. If you don't know it, it's about like, we lie to our friends, we lie to our family, we lie to our lovers, but we can't lie on what we Google, right? And it's like what we really talk about to ourselves as opposed to what we tell our friends and family, right? So one part of it is like, people could predict that Trump was gonna win because when Obama won, the Google searches for nigger went up in a lot of states. And then Trump figured out which those states were and kind of just, built off that, right?
Yeah.
So this book talks about like all the searches we do to kind of like figure out are certain like theories in life accurate, or that's just what we assume. So speaking of comedies, when do you think is the most likable time for someone to go watch a comedy stand-up? When they're in a good mood, when they're in a bad mood, when they're in a sad mood?
Probably bad, or at least based on what the comedians are even saying too, I would say bad, because I think at this particular time, an era that we're in, it seems like people go to them for comedic relief, to make fun of all the bullshit that's going on, basically all the stuff Chappelle's highlighting, like
right.
Cancel culture and all that stuff, because there's no one really out there who can talk about that and not fucking lose their job within 24 hours.
Dude, facts. That's what I would think as well. But as of 2018, you're more likely, according to our Google searches over the past 20 years, to seek something happy when you're in a good mood. So apparently, like that corny saying of misery loves company.
Yeah.
You're more likely to look for something sad when you're sad.
Yeah.
But you're only gonna look for stuff and the happiness when you're in a good place.
Right.
So they look at the two things they stood out the most is like the worst day in the week is when? Monday, right? And on that day, the amount of
Tuesday for me actually.
So today,
except for today, because it's Taco Tuesday, and the day after a holiday.
But they say when on Mondays, when you would think people will Google the most like happy thoughts because they're miserable, that's the least amount of days that fucking things are looking for happiness. So like, there's other examples of that prove that we seek happiness when we're in a happy mood, which is funny to me because I would assume the same thing you thought. Like, hey, I'm sad. Let me watch something to fucking make me happy.
Yeah.
Which is not the.
That's wild that nigger went up. Because, like, in my mind, let's just say hypothetically, I was a racist against black people, which would be weird because I'm black. But of all things I'd search for, why would I search for nigger? Like, do I want to see just pictures?
So they're searching nigger jokes, nigger like shit, like stuff with the word nigger in it. And it's just wild, bro, because if they compare the map side by side, and the Republican map is one thing, and that nigger searches, it's like the same exact map. Yeah. But then you add more states to it. It's like, whoa.
Shit. Damn, that's sad.
Because wild, because like we thought like Obama won by a landslide, but in his second term, bro, he barely won. But you could only find out that data from the Google searches, because all the normal Gallup polls had him winning by a landslide,
right? And
that's not what happened, bro. Like, people were generally online trying to figure out how can we not let this quote unquote nigger win. Like, it's it's wild.
And honestly, to play devil's advocate, another reason why I don't like this cancel culture stuff is this was the reason why the Trump voter was so invisible.
Facts.
Because if you even slightly remotely endorsed Trump, you could be a black dude from California, fucking did everything right, and vote for him just because he had one policy that, like, for whatever reason made your life better, and people would still call you racist, which doesn't make sense. But I think for that reason, people were like, oh, fuck it, no one's a Trump supporter because I don't see any of that on my feed. Meanwhile, these fools are hiding in some forum on the dark web or some shit. Nobody goes out to vote because they think Hillary's got this shit from a landslide.
That's exactly what happened.
And then he won. And I wasn't surprised one bit at all. I was like, I knew this shit was going to happen because people are too afraid to speak out and endorse him in public.
Dude,
or on the internet.
But kudos to him for being a marketing genius and fucking fed off that shit, bro. Because apparently you only realize that he's going to win if you look at the Google searches. Like, Joe, it's building up, like radicalism. He's like, bro, I could just tap into this and I'm gonna have all these fucking supporters, because according to the numbers of people who were Googling Trump to vote, that was like a 10 times more than what they actually thought the polls were going to be. So that's wild, bro. So the internet really tells you a different picture. So whatever this PC culture thinks it may be, dude, you go online and Google and look at our Google searches. It's a different fucking story.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wild. What else has been in the news recently? We spoke about Dave Chappelle. Yo, shout out to fucking Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah,
that was scary. That was crazy, bro.
I hate seeing the fucking red letters next to a celebrity's name.
Bro, that's wild,
it
bro.
Fucking freaks me out. But thankfully
I think he's gonna be alright though, right?
He recovered, or at least he had surgery and he's clearly alive. So, best of luck to him, and hope he has a speedy recovery. That's just fucked up. Apparently they were speeding. I don't understand why, because obviously he had a driver who he hired, I'd assume.
But I think it was like a fancy car though. It was like a car like he drove himself in, like a Mustang or some shit.
But what, didn't he hire a driver to fucking take him around?
I don't know, but I feel like when it comes to like those expensive cars, like they rather drive it themselves or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever happened.
But yeah, shout out to him.
Shit,
so him and Chappelle are the goats of comedy. Me and you have spoken about in the past about the goats of R&B, and I know Chris Brown and like MJ came up in the past. So I think what 50 Cent posted recently, how he thinks that Chris Brown is better than MJ. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, this is kind of like the Nipsey Tupac thing. I think we just need to start separating legacies and let people own their own shit, because Nipsey and Chris Brown both had enough of an impact to own their own legacy, in my opinion. They have completely different stories, so they can't. We shouldn't be trying to compare the two and figure out who's better, who's worse, who sold more. They're just completely different people. Obviously there are parallels, but Chris Brown just shouldn't be mentioned in the same sentence, just from the fact that they have completely different struggles. Unfortunately, Michael's is, if I had to compare the two, a lot nastier and a lot worse. I'd rather be known for fucking wilding out on somebody,
beating up a chick,
possibly being provoked, than a dude who's inviting little kids over to fucking Ferris wheels and shit.
But what do you think about then, like the fact that I think 50 Cent just posted this as a compliment? I feel like Bieber posted the same thing like 3 months ago. I think.
I think it's definitely flattering, but I feel like it just triggers too much of a reaction, to the point where like it's not even doing the situation justice. Just leave it as it is. He has enough respect in the industry. We don't have to fucking start making all kinds of crazy comparisons to like stroke his ego. I just don't see the point in it, to be honest.
I know, but then it also goes to this thing, like if you go back to the Nipsey point you just made, that I feel like a lot of people in the industry never really spoke about how much they loved Nipsey until after he was gone, right? So I think Bieber and 50 Cent were making the point of like, bro, like, why not fucking recognize these legends while they're alive, as opposed to waiting until they're dead to tell them how much, oh my God, you were the best, you were better than Michael. Like, if you really feel that way, fuck it, dude, say it now. Like, why not? Like, I kind of see that side of it. It's like, bro, like, I can fucking tell you how much I love you now, or I can wait till you're dead and let you know. Like, which one do you want?
I mean, he had a documentary not too long ago, right? Kind of like Michael Jackson style.
Yeah.
Where they like walk through his whole life and upbringing and all that. So I agree with that point. I think the tricky thing is a lot of people still haven't gotten over the whole Rihanna incident.
True. We mentioned this before.
Yeah, so it gets clouded by that shit, unfortunately. Some people just won't forget it. And just want to find a reason to be bitter. It's like, oh, this fool's rich. I'm not.
But what was weird about this situation, I feel like he got offended that 50 Cent even said that shit, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're like just humbled by it, like don't say anything.
Yeah, I
think
it
was kind of weird that he like came out, was like, bro, take that shit down. Like,
I mean, Chris Brown definitely idolizes Michael Jackson, maybe more so than we even realized.
True.
So he probably just saw that as going a little bit too far, and almost blasphemous in a way. So I think at that point he's like, all right, it's probably a joke, probably trolling a little bit.
He's probably trolling me, yeah. But you never know with 50 Cent, bro.
Yeah, that was the one time where 50 Cent
was being sincere.
Yeah, being sincere, ironically, and fucking.
I think that's
the one time where another celebrity's like, yo, you gotta calm down. Especially a celebrity like of his caliber in a way.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, I think Chris Brown definitely could have. I don't know. I heard about this today. I mean, do you think he really would have surpassed Michael Jackson though? Because I feel like a lot of his struggles made him who he is.
Dude, so I don't know.
Like
If
he was a clean cut dude, do you think?
But this is my thing, bro. Like I don't. There was something very polarizing about Michael Jackson, right? So I think he has the advantage of what we mentioned before in multiple episodes about the different era of how music was being fucking distributed to the masses, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Chris Brown back then would have been distributed to the masses the way Michael Jackson was, right? Because something about Michael Jackson that was fucking polarizing. Yeah. You had to watch it. So the entire world knew who the fuck he was. If Chris Brown was in that time frame, I don't know if he gets that same mass appeal. And that's why I would assume that Michael Jackson would have been bigger comparing apples to apples, right? Because if you think about it, Chris Brown's fans are still prominently African American, Latinos, hip hop, R&B fans.
But you had little white girls fucking screaming over Michael Jackson and fainting.
Exactly, that's my point. Yeah, that's my point. Exactly. You had the entire world, no matter, like, he was genreless, right? Whereas Chris Brown's probably one of the best R&B singers we've ever had.
Yeah.
I think Michael Jackson is just one of the best artists.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like that comparison, like, I get what they're saying. Yeah. Like, I respect that. And, I'm one of those guys, like, bro, if you love someone, tell me you love them today.
Yeah.
But that comparison, bro, I think MJ would win every fucking day.
For sure. Yeah, Michael Jackson's impact was, like, straight up universal. To the point where, like, if aliens came down, they're like, yo, give me, like, the top 5 humans ever. Michael Jackson would somehow make that list.
Facts, bro. Like, it's different, bro. Like, I get what they're saying. Like, I respect it, too. Like, yo, give respect, love. Bro, he's, like, Chris Brown is one of the best R&B artists of this era. Or set ever. But, bro, yo, Michael Jackson, bro, everyone knew his songs, dude. He was being invited to fucking hang out with Mandela and, like, fucking the Dalai Lama. Like, bro, like, that's who the fuck was listening to him. The entire world. Like, not some fucking niche market. Like, I know we, like, hip-hop is our thing, but on the grand scheme of things, at least, like, 5 years ago, it's another genre. Like,
and not that this is important, but I went to a friend's, like, PR event at some hotel. And Chris Brown shut up for, like, 15 minutes.
And no one cared.
I won't say no one cared, but he didn't have fucking the Navy SEALs rolling deep, like, blocking him and having 40 people with cameras snapping left and right. Like, it was pretty low key. Like, if I wanted to hop over a couple dudes and clock them in the face, which I would never do, but if I wanted to, I probably could have found a way. Michael Jackson, you get sniped before you even think about it.
Like, they'll catch you thinking about it, and you'll be, that was a bad thought.
That's the kind of superpowers he had.
Yeah, I think he was special, bro. So I would again, I love the accolades. I think more artists should try to be the best. Like, I get, like, it's not a competition, but, like, bro, if you could be the best artist, try to be the best artist. Yeah. So I get that, and I think Chris Brown should have that as a goal. But, bro, like, just you and I talking, there's no way he surpasses Michael. That's like, bro, Michael was special, bro. Yeah. Like,
I think it's flattering.
It's flattering, bro. It's
detract from Chris Brown's stardom or talent or anything.
Yeah, bro. You weren't as good as Michael Jackson. Oh my god. Like,
I think it's just 2 different times, 2 different talents, and 2 different levels of impact.
Bro, really, the only fucking comparison they have is that they're both black and can dance.
Yeah, black dance can
That's
sing.
That's it, though, bro. Like, their music is different. Like,
and there's not a lot of people that can match each of them. But, like, if you put them both together, like, they don't have the same classics. Music is different, and, like,
bro. Like,
Michael Jackson has super, super timeless classics.
Bro, timeless.
Like,
timeless.
And tons of them, too.
Right, that's because it doesn't have to be with, like, I think with Chris Brown, bro, not even just Chris Brown, a lot of hip-hop artists, R&B artists right now, is that you're kind of susceptible to what's popular now. Yeah. So a lot of your beats are, all right, that was the beat of 2000.
Yep.
Whereas Michael Jackson is, bro, that was just a fucking hit.
Yeah.
And then he has 20 of them. You're like, what the fuck? Whereas Chris Brown is like, there's certain beats of him, like, all right, that's like a early 2000 beat where we had to have like a fire beat with a guy singing on the hook, and then we had it like that.
Yeah.
A lot of shit's predictable, right? There's like, I really only think, like, again, like you mentioned on our previous podcast, I think Drake, Jay-Z, and Kanye are the only real people making timeless fucking music. Mm-hmm. And I just think Chris Brown's not there yet, bro. Like, a lot of his beats are representative of the time he's in, as opposed to, hey, this is a great song, it'll last forever.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I feel like a lot of the tracks he touches have hit potential or are like very radio friendly and dope.
Because he's naturally that way, though.
And he can sing his ass off on anything. It's just there's not. I can't think of a ton of tracks to where like the entire room will just go
right.
Like Deuces is one track that obviously will have the crowd going nuts and stuff, but other than that, I think he's just like a musical machine, but not necessarily the musical like god that
MJ was.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was. So,
and he is a machine, bro. He's fucking. We made a joke before. He's fucking. These albums are 40 fucking tracks. Like,
yeah,
he's just fucking.
And none of them are bad, but
none of them are great though.
I'm not going through a adding frenzy.
I haven't added a Chris Brown song to my playlist in a long time, bro. Yeah. It's been a fucking minute, man. But speaking of fucking people who were legends in the game and all that stuff, so you kind of wanted to discuss the whole Jay-Z, Colin Kaepernick thing again about the whole like he made a couple comments about like single parent homes and all that stuff.
I mean, fortunately, he's from a single parent home because this shit would sound way more wild if he.
Oh no, he's speaking from a place of reference.
If he was like a privileged, if he was, I don't know, who's a privileged rapper. I don't know. Let's say this was like, fucking. Damn, nobody really privileged comes to mind.
They all claim to be fucking.
But anyways, let's say he was a white rapper who grew up in fucking the Hamptons or some shit. They'd be tearing his ass apart. They're still tearing Jay-Z's ass apart because they're playing the sellout card. I think his point makes sense. It's just the fact that I think cause is a very fucking strong word. Because even if we fucking did a reverse Thanos and snapped black fathers into the lives of African American sons tomorrow, racial profiling would still exist. There would still be a misunderstanding. But I think what he's really trying to say is that in a lot of instances, these black lost individuals might have difficulty listening to rules from another man who didn't lay a finger to help raise them. But it's a tricky situation because there's a lot of people who turn out completely fine.
Yes.
And it's too blanket of a statement to say that, and it's gonna piss a lot of people off because there's a lot of people that worked hard and persevered and don't have that mindset. So I think that argument is just wrong in how it was worded and what he was trying to say, and didn't really have substance behind it. It was just kind of like a random. Oh, now that I'm partnered with the NFL, let me say some shit that the dudes I'm hanging around with might like to hear.
Okay, so I would go. I'm gonna play devil's advocate then, and then go to again the whole theme of this episode is called PC and Mac. So let's go to what the big data says. So back to that book I read this week about the data. So I feel like what he said was maybe like had like shock value, but it's not wrong though. So if you go to if we think about the NBA, right? We always assume that the black kid from a single parent home who had a very impoverished fucking lifestyle growing up is more likely to become an NBA star than the black kid who had everything, or the kid who had everything for him, right? That's what we assume. So more kids are like LeBron James, like come from a fucking terrible background and they're so fucked up that they think basketball is the only way to survive, right? Yeah. That's what we assume. So data will show that's fucking inaccurate. Kids who come from a double family home, mom and dad, grow up in a relatively middle income household are more likely to make the NBA than someone like LeBron James. So Chris Paul, Chris Bosh are a couple examples of people who had both parents at home. Steph Curry had both parents at home, weren't the richest, but weren't broke. And that was enough to make them stable human beings and go off their talent, right? So it's more likely that than what LeBron is, right?
Right.
So for the thing that for what he says, Jay-Z, about like these fucking single family homes, single family homes, these single family homes, bro. I hate this LA life. These homes, dude. The data shows that these homes are fucking conducive to not putting out the best thing for society, bro. Like, that's just a fucking matter of the fact. Like, we all have that one or two person we can think of, like, oh, well, he's a single family home member, but he's fine. But, bro, the data shows, bro, if you don't have a fucking stable father figure in your life, bro, you don't respect authority, you don't respect men. So if fucking a cop comes at you and you're a dude, bro, your instant reaction is to fucking, like, punch your guard up and, like, yo, let me fight back. Whereas maybe if you had a father figure so you knew what a good example was, you would be more like, all right, let me chill. So again, like I respect authority. I didn't have my dad around, right? Like it just there's always one off, so I'm a one off.
Yeah.
But dude, the data shows, bro, that's a fucking massive impact.
And I agree. For one, I wouldn't go too hard on the subject myself, just because. I mean, my parents were divorced, but my dad was around, so I can't say it was like a completely torn family or anything like that. But I do see, I think a lot of different people, even not even talking about police brutality, there's a lot of, I don't know what you would call them, activists or just men in general who study, societal, I guess, challenges, have mentioned that broken homes do lead to a lot of issues. And I think with men in particular, we handle our frustrations differently, which is why when these shootings happen, I can't recall any time I've seen someone be like, was it a chick who did this?
Right.
Like we're always like, what's his race?
Right.
What was wrong with him? And I think things like this contribute to those issues, and it's just a tough pill to swallow. That's not to say that anyone deserves to be shot just for like refusing a fucking simple order, and that's not to say racial profiling doesn't exist, and also it's not to say that cops don't abuse rights and do things that they shouldn't be doing.
100%.
But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of instances where dudes are just like, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
super aggressive for no reason.
Yeah, super aggressive for no reason, and it just leads to issues. And it doesn't make you a bitch for following orders, so long as you do it respectfully and know your rights.
I think we both agree on the fact that we agree with what Jay-Z maybe said. It's just the fact that like it's kind of snowballing from 2 weeks ago you sold out. Yeah. Now you're telling us that our fucking people are being killed and hurt because it's their fault. Like I think it's just like the fact that Jay-Z said it. And
he said the word cause.
Yeah.
So it makes it seem like that's literally the only reason why a dude might be getting shot.
Right.
A dude of color.
But I think it's just the fact that he said it. Like, he's just like a fucking lightning rod that anything to do with fucking black culture.
Right.
It's like, bro, we loved you. You were our king, and now you fucking turned your back on us, and now you're telling us it's our fault. Like, if anyone else would have said that comment, dude, if a white guy said that comment, I think it would have been like like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But the fact, I think they just think that Jay-Z right now is like a picture of like an Uncle Tom.
And that's the sad thing too, is because if a white dude did make that comment, oh, he's racist, brush him off, done. There's no way he's right. And then if a black dude says it, it's like deep down it hits your pit, and you're like, I know this might be kind of right, but he's a fucking cool
Uncle Tom, motherfucker.
Uncle Tom. And then it's like, I don't even want to hear from him. Let's cancel him. Blah blah blah. What would be interesting, speaking of data, is if they could somehow go back to all these police brutality shootings, not just the ones that were highlighted by the media, and see if out of those thousands of incidents, one, if they came from a broken family, and then two, what that interaction was like. Like, did they refuse orders?
Bro, I just know. So I agree with you, because again, the topic is PC or Mac, and I think Data has been a fucking beautiful little side host with us. But bro, the data will show there was a lot of fucking white cops shooting at black kids.
Yeah,
that's what the data's gonna show. So like, I know what you mean as far as we can dissect this shit to different levels, but it's gonna be a lot of white guys shooting at black kids. So that's the fucking scary part. But I wanted to ask you, just speaking about like stuff we've been fucking looking forward to. Since we mentioned our Heat of the Week and all that other stuff. Did you get a chance? I know you watched the Chappelle show, obviously. Did you get a chance to watch the Travis Scott special?
No, I saw that you saw it,
bro.
I still gotta watch
Phenomenal.
Is it kind of like a just all-inclusive documentary?
So do you remember Defiant Ones on like HBO about like the whole like Jimmy Iovine and going through like?
Oh yeah.
So it's very similar to that, but like obviously from Travis Scott, who we can both relate to.
Yeah.
Bro, it goes back to when he's a kid, like fucking 5 years old, to when he's 15, to when he's now, to then back. The progression of the fucking timeline is phenomenal. And just, dude, they have at least 4 different times where he's coming up with the lyrics in his mind with just the beat playing. And they captured that. Like, that is like, dude, like we're both fucking music geeks, so we like appreciate that. But bro, this was like special. He was like, you can see him coming up with the lyrics like Sicko Mode and then when he finally got the Drake lyrics for that song, you saw him lose his fucking mind out of pure joy. Like, bro, it is fucking great. And then what he really, the part of the fucking documentary was fucking phenomenal, not to ruin anybody, is when he loses the fucking rap album of the year nomination at the Grammys to Cardi B. Yo, this nigga's mad, bro. Rightly so.
I listened to Astroworld again in its entirety maybe
bro,
2 weeks ago. I'm like, damn, like this definitely deserved it.
Bro, but this is my thing, bro.
Was cool and everything.
That's
cool
what I'm
debut,
saying.
Like,
let's not nothing to take. Yo, I love Cardi B. That was a dope album. Yeah. But bro, album of the year, you're stretching. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, it's first of all, it should have been Mac Miller. That's my opinion. But Mac Miller, Nipsey Hussle, Travis Scott, those 3 albums are way better than fucking like, yo, I know it's subjective. I get that. But bro, if she wasn't a chick who had this mass appeal, there's no way she's winning fucking round. There's no way, bro. Like, no one consciously who's a rap fan went in that thing to vote and was like, oh yeah, Cardi B for sure. There's none.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
But I'm telling you, Look Mama Can Fly on Netflix. If you want a Future Hit of the Week, go watch that, bro. That's fucking quality fucking cinematography, but it's a story about Travis is fucking nuts, bro.
I mean, I won't ruin it, but what was his... I still don't understand where he came from, because he came out of nowhere. No, I know that, but like he, as far as I know, he was just working with Kanye maybe for a bit and just blew up out of nowhere. But like, what was his first major breakthrough? Like,
so they don't go too deep into that. They show that famous video of him performing in 2014 in front of like 20 people, and like they fast forward to like he's performing fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But they don't really tap into why he blew up. It was more so he blew up because he was just fucking consistent.
Okay.
And like constantly.
So it wasn't like fucking Jay-Z low key. Like...
No. No one gave him a cosign. It was just him constantly putting out beats, working. Because he produces a lot of his own shit, which you learn on the documentary. But what was cool about it was they talk about like, so the title of the documentary is Look Mama Can Fly. It's about the people flying off the stage on his performances. So he'll invite like, they usually want to kick you off, but he'll invite you to fucking rush the stage, but you have to get off immediately. Yeah. And that's like, oh look, Mama, I'm fly. Like that's, dude, it's just fucking.
That's a dope concept.
Dude, it's very well done. A couple of shows me and you were spoken about, and bro, dude, people are fucking like getting knocked the fuck out of his fucking shows, like unconscious.
Like in the mosh pit and shit?
In the mosh pit, bro. Like he's had to like tell people, "Yo, please get away so we can get an ambulance," and like that, and then just go back to fucking.
Goddamn.
But bro, like people are like almost dying in his mosh pits, which is why shout out to your friend Karen.
Yep.
When she came to hang out with us in Miami for Rolling Loud, bro, we're like, yo, the mosh pit's about to start. Leave the fuck now. Right. And she left because, bro, that would have been bad.
Well, fortunately, we were like a mile and a half.
We were a mile away from it, yeah.
But either way, I think the crowd was crazy, even that far away.
Yeah, that was a smart move by us because that girl would have died, and that would have been on us.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
But yeah, you have the time. Check out the Travis Scott documentary. Again, as a music fan, as an everything fan, it's quality. Yeah. So anything else, bro? Anything you want to touch on before we let the people go?
Not really. Obviously, next week we'll check back via video. Find some more content to give you guys. We'll be uploading everything very soon. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram too, at Audio Theory, as well as Twitter, Audio Theory HQ. So you can get notifications on when we upload new shit and memes and all that good stuff.
All right, my guy. Appreciate you. Great. Thank you for the Cali love.
Sure.
And I'll see you next week.
Word.